you want one tip. It's going to make you an overall better DP. Okay. All you got to do is so one of the best things that I think you can do to become just a better overall DP, videographer, cinematographer, whatever it is that you want to call yourself and or is your job title, is grab a camera and take it with you everywhere you go. Does not matter what it is. Just take a camera and carry it with you everywhere. Doesn't matter if it's a point and shoot or if it's your phone, or if you're the crazy person that wants to carry a 1DX Mark III with a 70-200 strapped on you at all times. Doesn't matter. Whatever camera you have and or want to carry around, take it with you everywhere you go. Put it in your bag, put it around your neck, body strap, chest harness. It doesn't matter. If it comes down to you just having a GoPro that fits in your front pocket, do that. Take it with you everywhere. Now, is taking it with you going to make you a better shooter? No, use it. You would think I wouldn't have to say that, but from personal experience, I used to take a camera with me in my bag all the time. I just always throw it in there, whether it be, like a small Fuji X100 or whatever else. I just throw it in my bag and be like, you know what? There we go. I got a camera with me. And I wouldn't use it. So what was the point of that? I just was taking up weight, taking up space, leaving no room for a lunch. The thing is that you have to actively force yourself to use that camera and to shoot with it. I'm sure there are some people that just have their camera with them at all times, damn near never leaving their hand, to the point where they are just constantly shooting whatever it is they see. More power to you, because I wish I could be that person, but I'm not. So I have to actively force myself to keep this thing out, keep this thing with me, and make it fun to shoot with. And what I mean by that, I've gotten really sick over the years of editing photos. Really sick. Yes, I still do it day to day because that's part of my job and part of my role. It's a little bit different. It involves a little more retouching. But when it comes to, happy snaps, I'm just carrying my camera with me, and all I want to do is that's a cool frame. Let me grab that shot. The last thing I want to do is import it, bring it into Lightroom, capture one, whatever, edit it. Okay, we'll simplify it. Slap on a preset, export it, re-upload it to your phone, re-upload it to wherever, and actually use it somewhere. I'm just not going to do that. I know that from personal experience. I've got a hard drive just full of raw images that probably will never see the light of day because I don't want to edit them. I just don't want to do it. But if you're the person who enjoys the editing aspect, maybe one of the things that you really like about the whole filmmaking process is coloring. So you find a way to incorporate that into your stills process, whether it's taking a DNG export of one of your Fuji RAWs or Canon RAWs and importing it to Resolve and editing it that way. Great. That's going to help you far more than just taking a photo. But if anything, that's going to inspire you to take more because you enjoy that part of the process. For me, I like finding a frame that I find interesting, capturing it, and moving on. That's it. That's it. I got really into shooting 35mm a few years ago, and I think one of the main reasons, now that I look back, had nothing to do with the film aesthetic. Yeah, I want that film aesthetic. I don't give a shit about the film aesthetic. All I cared about was the fact that once that thing was processed and scanned, that's kind of all you can do with it. Yeah, you can adjust some shadows, some highlights. I guess you can edit your negative digitally, But I wasn't doing that. I might make some minor adjustments, like just white balance a set of images, make sure that's whatever. But for the most part, I don't want to touch them. To me, it was snap, develop, scan, done. I'm actually going to look through these. I'm actually going to utilize them. So what's been my fix? Shooting JPEG. Yeah. Shooting JPEGs has completely altered my perspective when it comes to shooting. And I don't just mean my everyday snaps with a camera or my phone. Those JPEGs has altered the way I shoot. And what I mean by that is even if you're shooting raw, you're still very much limited in what you can do to that video negative in a sense. It's not like you're 14-bit stills out of a Canon or something like that. Like you're definitely going to be limited, especially when it comes to like noise and just overall processing power of say a computer, of what you can really do with that. So for me, I've really learned to nail what it is that I see in my head in camera. I know a lot of people say this. You want to nail this in camera. You got to get this in camera because I don't want to alter stuff. I don't want to, like, yeah, a lot of people say it, but when it comes down to it, it was kind of bullshit. Because whether you run out of time, whether you don't have the full crew you expected, whether you don't have the equipment you expected, something will come up and you're kind of left wishing you had more time. And then the dreaded words, "Let's fix it in post," comes out of your mouth. It's happened. We can all admit it, and that's fine. But one of the things that has helped that, with the obvious years of experience and building up the knowledge of, if this goes wrong, then I can do this. And then if this goes wrong, I know I can go do that. Like, you build that up and it helps. But the biggest things you want to always keep in mind are lights and framing. Lights are something that you can mainly control, right? You can mostly control lights. But if you're outside, you're not able to always control that light, right? You're shooting some B-roll and you're just, I don't know, out in the mountains somewhere, and you know that this is the light I have, and then I have a sun bounce. So now it's like 50-50 what you can control. So what's the one thing that you can control 100% of the time? It's framing. And having that camera with you at all times teaches you that framing. It trains your brain to think in the sense of framing and find those unique frames quickly. And that's what sets you apart as a shooter. It's quick thinking. It's not how unique of a frame you find. It's not your lighting that you find. What it comes down to is being a successful DP is how quickly you can think and how quickly you problem solve. Now, that's not the fun thing to talk about. We want to talk about lighting and we want to talk about Roger Deakins' work. No one wants to talk about the problem solving that goes into a production. The fact that you might think you can get a 2K out that window, but then you realize you need 200 feet of cable run. Well, you don't have that. So what can you do in the room you're in to frame against that window? Use that window now differently. And that comes down to quick thinking, problem solving. And the only way you're going to get good at problem solving in a production realm is by practice. Over and over and over. So lighting, yes, definitely. Get some lights, get your kit, and just practice. Watch movies. Watch breakdowns on YouTube or whatever. And you can pick up lighting, for sure. But the problem solving skill, the quick thinking when it comes to camera framing, that's something you have to train yourself. I don't care how many videos you watch, inevitably you'll be in a position and you'll freeze. You'll freeze because something went wrong, and now you have to scramble to come up with a better way to do it. A different way to shoot this. This location fell through, now we have to do that. Like, something's gonna happen, guaranteed. So the best way around that is to train that muscle. That's a muscle, your brain's a muscle. And to do that, it's to take these photos, shoot all the time. I have camera rolls of just of random photos, just because it's like, ooh, what's kind of a cool frame at the grocery store? Who knows if I'm ever going to need that. But if one day I'm on a project and we're shooting a breakdown of nutrition in the grocery store, well, I just have one photo that I could recall knowing that that's a really cool frame. If anything, you're building your own shot deck of inspiration based on the way you like to frame things, not the way other people frame things. There's always room to look at that and get inspired by that during your inspiration binges. But you want to develop the way that you see it, the way you see the frame in your head. And the only way to do that is by shooting these frames and re-referencing them at a later date. Next time you're out on a walk or you're headed to work, shoot something. Shoot everything. Just start snapping photos, finding unique angles, finding angles that you like. Then next time you're on set, you're going to be surprised as how quickly you're able to find these frames. How quickly, when you have that camera on your shoulder or you're moving your tripod around, that you're able to just see that frame in advance. That's how you get better at this. It's just training that muscle and finding your framing. Find the things you can control versus the things you can't. And the one thing that you can 100% control at all times, no matter what, is your framing. So I hope you got something from that. If you did, make sure you are subscribing. You're hitting that like button, even if you're not into it and you hated it. Hit the dislike button because it's all engagement anyway. And it at least shows me that you have an opinion. And until next time, keep shooting and I'll see you in the next one. Let's get to work.